Hello and welcome to West Market Watches. Today we're going to be reviewing the Bulova Lunar Pilot Chronograph 98A186. But first check. Today I'm wearing the high mileage Hamilton. This is a khaki navy scuba model from 2013. Was a daily wear for me for about 10 years. It's got a lot of miles on it. It's been a great watch. This particular Bulova is modeled after a stainless steel mechanical chronograph that Bulova made that a Colonel Dave Scott wore. Colonel Scott was a 3-time spaceflight astronaut. He was the 7th man to walk on the moon and the first man to drive a lunar rover. And the case back of this watch includes a date inscription of that mission and the August 2nd, 1971, the day that Colonel Scott wore his Bulova on the moon. Now, legend has it that Colonel Scott's NASA issued Omega Speedmaster broke during the mission, and he had his personal watch with him and had permission to use it on the EVA on the moon. He's the only known person to wear a personally owned watch on the moon. The others have been in space, obviously, notably some Rolex GMT Masters, but were not actually worn on the moon. In the moon watch selection competition, Bulova was not one of the watches that was considered. There were actually 4. The first one was a Hamilton pocket watch, which was not tested because it did not meet any of the criteria. Wittnauer entered their 235T, which ran on a Valjoux 72 chrono movement. Rolex entered their Cosmograph 6238, which is a pre-Daytona model. It also ran on the Valjoux 72. And everyone knows that the Omega Speedmaster Professional ultimately won that competition, the model 105.003. And it was powered by the Lemania 321, and aficionados of that particular model are aware of the caliber 321 and its importance. Apparently, during the testing, the Lemania 321 was simply a more robust movement and withstood the rigor of testing. And of course, it was selected as the Moonwatch. Now, this particular model from Bulova, it's a quartz movement. It's not a mechanical. It's 45 millimeter diameter. It has a black ion-coated stainless steel. It's 52.7 millimeters lug to lug, and the lugs are 20 millimeters. It's a little thick. Without the strap, it's 14.2, but with the strap on it, I measured it at 15.4. Comes in at about 113 grams total weight on the strap, and has 50 meters of water resistance. Now, it's obviously completely blacked out, and you can see the dial is very black. It's got a dial on a dial. On the sub-dial below, you can see the railroad track around the periphery there to track the seconds. But it's got this matte black disc sitting on the surface of that lower disc, and it has the cutouts for the 3 registers, and you can see those 3 sub-registers have got just a little bit of sunburst action to them. All the markers are applied all the way around. It's got a little bit of lume, both in the hands and in the on the markers. I'll try to get a lume shot here. Let's see if we can get this to light up. It's not very substantial. You can see it doesn't show a lot of brightness there, but it does have lume on the hands, on the chronosecond, and on the hour markers. The hands are baton style. The bezel holds that crystal down and actually covers the tachymeter underneath. So it's almost like a glass box type feature. It's not rounded off. It's very abrupt drop off on the edge. And it's a very proud crystal. You can see how it stands up. Crown is 7.7 millimeters. It's big, be easy to grab with some gloves on. It is signed with the Bulova tuning fork. It's got a good coin edge, easy to grab, but it has 2 positions. And I mean, obviously you can spin it. It's not winding anything because it's quartz powered. But when you go into the first position, nothing happens. But if you put it up to your ear, you'll hear this consistent rhythmic clicking as you spin, indicating that this movement has a date capability, although it's not used on this watch. When you go to the second position, that's where you set the time, but it also hacks the seconds. Here at 6 o'clock, you have the running second hands. You can see it starts moving again, and then pull out and you can hack. The strap is leather. It's nice. It's a good quality. It's got a Bulova stamp on the back. I call it a two-piece NATO. You use pins on both sides of the watch head, and then you feed this through. It adds to the thickness by having that pass through underneath, as I mentioned earlier, but it's really not a very substantial strap to hold this watch. I mean, the bulk of the weight is the head of the watch. This leather is very light, and when I wear it, I have to cinch it up pretty tight to keep it from rolling back and forth on my wrist. The movement that it uses is the Bulova NP20, also called the 8136, which is probably a Miyota movement. It has a stupendous 262,144 hertz power, which is 8 times faster than a standard quartz. They call it high precision. It has obviously on the central stack, you got the hour and the minute and the second hands. And you can see the sub-register is at 3. There's this 1/10 of a second counter. The running seconds is 6. And at 9, you have the 60-minute counter. So what's interesting is this sub-counter here will stop after 30 seconds. But internally, the watch will continue to count it. So when you stop it again, if you're past 30 seconds, it'll move that 1/10 of a second hand there to where it should be for it to continue to run. I'll show you that. See that it stopped when we hit the 30-second mark, and now when I hit stop, you watch it, it'll move to where it should have been, and then simple reset. The pushers are interesting. They're long. Instead of the pushers that stick straight up, and they're cantilevered a little bit. The pivot point is right here close to the crown, so you see when you press down, it's pivoting from that point close to the crown. It is date capable. If it had a date, it would be probably there at the 4:30 position. I know that's not everybody's favorite, but it's about the only place it would fit on this particular dial. Bulova doesn't give any definitive description of accuracy other than to say it's quote-unquote seconds per year, which is really an outstanding level of accuracy, which is not uncommon in a quartz watch. So looking at this, well, what's to like about this watch? Well, it's a good looking watch. I mean, it's really well designed. It's got good dimensions. It's a nice looking chrono. I really like the monochromatic appearance of this one, just the black on black on black. It just really looks nice. It tends to, I think, slim it up a little bit. It's super accurate, as I already mentioned. It's very scratch resistant. I do not baby my watches. You could tell from the Hamilton I showed you. There's not a scratch anywhere on this watch, and I have worn it many, many times. And of course, it's got the chrono function. If that's what you're buying the watch for, that's a good feature. Dislikes to me on this one, the 20 millimeter lug width is just not enough. I think a watch of this size would do better with a 22 millimeter lug width to kind of offset the weight of the head of the watch with something a little more sturdy. It does wear better on NATOs. I have a couple of NATOs that I put on it, and I feel like they hold it down a little bit better. I don't know why. They just seem to cinch up a little better and hold it in there. For me, I'm a fan of the date complication. I would like to have that date at the 4:30, but it's not a big deal that it's not there. And then the thickness of this is just a little much. That crystal's really proud. It stands up real high, and I think it's probably because it's got the tachymeter underneath, and you can see that the tachymeter is on a raised edge there, so that causes it to sit pretty high. Bulova no longer makes this watch. They do make multiple iterations of the Lunar Pilot in stainless steel, and you can see those models on their webpage. But when they were selling this, it was $695 retail. I've seen some of these online secondhand in the $300 to $400 range. So That's the Bulova Lunar Pilot chronograph. Thank you for watching.